one.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first exercise, Paul, is the bent knee hip extension. So you reach your tailbone long, so reach that way. Push the pubic bone down, put the hip crest here and lift it. So I've got about 2 finger gap. I'm going to keep that gap, I'm going to keep my tailbone long, and then I'm going to bend, actually it's single leg isn't it, okay, so I'm going to bend one leg, I'm going to try and get to 90 degrees, and I'm not going to let my pelvis lift, and then down again. Okay, so I'm going to do, you can do both legs, but just do one at a time. Okay, so that's your bent knee hip extension exercise. The second one was an exercise for your psoas, so the front of your hip, and you're going to have one leg by the side and maybe put one leg on a chair or sofa. Okay, you want to be about 30-degree flexion of the hip and then about 30 degrees abduction, so taking it out to the side, and then the leg is turned out. Okay, you've got to keep the pelvis nice and square, and then we're not actually going to lift the leg off, we're just going to make it feel light on the top. So if you start by letting the leg be heavy on the chair, and then you just gently lighten it, so you're just going to feel a muscle connection in the very front of your lower abdominals and the front of your hip. And as with all of these, it's holding the contraction of the muscle 6 seconds, then give a little rest, and then 6 seconds again, and do it 6 times. Okay, so it's just that gentle lightening of the leg on the chair seat or the sofa seat. About 30 degrees of hip flexion and 30 degrees of hip abduction, so out to the side. Then the other exercise was for your hamstrings, and how I would do this, it's bend the leg first. But what I would do is I would lift the foot up and I'd turn the hip inwards. Okay, so my foot's going to come out to the side. Then I'm going to put the leg down, or the foot down, so I'm internally rotated my thigh. Now I'm going to internally rotate my lower leg and dorsiflex. I'm going to pull my toes up. There's quite an angle at the knee, okay, so it can be quite, and then you're just going to pull your heel, or if you've got a shoe on, you're going to pull the back of the sole down and in towards your bottom. Okay, it's not actually going to move, but you're just pulling in and down. Okay, so you can do that with a internally rotated thigh, internally rotated lower leg. You can also do it with an internally rotated thigh but an externally rotated lower leg, so my foot turns out, and then you pull in again. Okay, the external rotation will work the muscles on the outside of the back of your leg, and obviously the internal rotated lower leg will work the inside muscles of the back of your leg. Okay, and then your next one is up against a wall. So I don't have a wall here, but if I pretend that the edge of my mat is a wall, then what I would do is I would take my, in my case, left leg out to the side, okay, and my leg can be in 2 different positions. So if I turn the leg out, okay, then my toes will be touching the wall, okay, and you're going to keep the pelvis square again always, and then just apply a force, about 10% of what you can achieve, up against the wall. So I don't have a wall here, but if a wall was where my hand is, I'd be pushing with my toes, mostly my toes would be touching the wall. Okay, then we can do the same exercise but with the leg turned in. So now it would be the side of my heel that would be touching the wall. Okay, and the rest of my body stays still. We're trying not to use these quad muscles to exert the force. The work should come from the side of your hip, where you get a bit of discomfort. So it should be from here, and you apply the force into the wall 10% of what you can, again 6 times for 6 seconds, on both internal and external. So both want to be 6 times 6 seconds. And that's really it. So that's the 4 exercises to practice.